Hello, my name is Ethan Zimmerman, and welcome to the Tin Man Show. Now, before we start, I have to go over a few things, mainly concerning the lack of video of this past week, why this one's coming out late, and why I'm going to be skipping a little bit. So, starting off, I recorded Genesis chapters 19 through 22, or something like that, last week with my friend Levi, but the footage got messed up. It was not a footage type that I could edit at all, and then it also turned out that his audio was just not picked up, and so it would have been, an hour of me talking to myself, but then with, awkward long 2 minute like pauses and silences as he's talking. So that was the first issue, and I have no desire to ask him to like re-record his audio, and he doesn't have any desire to do that either. Or go over it again because the sort of surprise element is taken out of it. So there was that. There's this week, I had some things come up over the weekend and I was not able to record anything. And so hence I'm recording this on Monday evening, and I'm going to try and edit it and upload it tonight or tomorrow. But that's just a few things starting out. So because I have very little desire to have to reread through this, I'm going to give a quick summary. It doesn't take that long to actually go through everything. And so, summary of chapter 19. Basically, it's the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. What happens is Lot is sort of approached by a crowd and everything, and then let's see, over here he says, I have 2 daughters which have not yet known man, and I pray, let me bring them unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only to these men do nothing, therefore they come under the shadow of my roof. Basically here, he's going, hey, I'm going to give you my virgin daughters, do what you want with them. And then the Lord sort of gets Lot and his wife and his daughters out of there, and then he like destroys the city over here. And then there's the whole Lot's wife turns around and looks back and becomes a pillar of salt. And then later, they're all like chilling in a cave, and then the 2 daughters go, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve our seed of our father. So basically, both of the daughters rape their dad. They get him drunk. He like passes out, basically. He is blackout drunk, doesn't remember anything, doesn't recognize them. They both have sex with him, and they both get pregnant. A wild chapter, but not that's the general gist of chapter 19 here. Chapter 20 is not terribly interesting to my recollection. It's just the whole nother thing of Abraham and Sarah going somewhere and pretending like she is his sister. Turns out, as they say somewhere in this chapter, I don't actually remember where, Sarah is Abraham's sister. They are siblings. It's not just that they were pretending, it's that they are siblings. That they straight up are siblings. And that's the main takeaway that I took from this. That was kind of interesting. Then there's chapter 21 here, and there's this whole thing where it's basically the Isaac being born. Abraham's like 100 here when Isaac is born, 2 or 3 when Isaac is weaned at 2 or 3, and then basically Hagar, Abraham's mistress, is just cast out with her child. They don't really have a whole lot there. And then the kid grows up to become an archer, and he gets married and stuff. And that's basically it. Chapter 22, the binding of Isaac. Interesting here. It doesn't give us any idea of how much time has passed. I did a little bit of research because I was interested. He is older than 5, and with 37 being the absolute maximum age. A lot of things that I saw placed him, at the very least as an older teenager or in his, early to mid 20s. So that's this general time that this is happening. But basically, God says, "Hey, you need to go sacrifice your son," and Abraham just says, "Okay," and he gets his son. And then they go up to this mountain, and he ties Isaac to this like pyre. Basically, it has his knife raised, is about to kill him, and then God's like, "Hey, it was just a prank, bro. It's just a prank. Don't do it." And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then later it goes down and talks about more generations that have passed. That's the quick summary of chapters 19 through 22, because the audio got messed up and it would be way too much of a hassle to have to re-record it or to have to like go back over the audio or reread it or anything. So that's the quick summary. You can go back and read it through. It shouldn't take you that long. They're not any particularly long chapters, but yeah, that's basically it. We are starting here with Genesis chapter 23, um, and we're moving on from here. A couple of things before we start this, actually. Um, I promise that I'll eventually be able to get out a video where there isn't some issue with a guest, because I enjoy doing it with guests. It sort of lightens the load in general. I feel like the commentary is better and everything, but I will definitely work on getting some type of video out that isn't just completely destroyed whenever I have a guest on. Um, I'm going to, of course, keep putting out the individual chapters as well. And this thing is new, right? You get to look at what I'm doing now. Um, so we're doing that. This week is going to be another, solo episode. I'm going to try and get some. I have a couple different people on that I want to get on before I start repeating guests. Um, but yeah, so there's some things to look forward to in the future. Of course, there were a couple interesting chapters. I do recommend going through and reading them just to see how absolutely wild they are. But with that, here we go. Genesis chapter 23. And Sarah was 107 and 20 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah. Also, the benefit of this is that you get to look at what I have to read, and you get to see whenever I misspeak and whenever it's just written utterly terribly. So that's a benefit. Yeah. So Sarah was 90 when Abraham was 100. Uh, Isaac was born when Abraham was 100. This means that the absolute maximum that Isaac could have been would be 37. But given the whole genealogy stuff at the end of the last chapter, the estimates are significantly lower than that normally by about 20-ish years. And here we are. And Sarah died in Kith-Jabara, the same as Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. And Abraham stood up from before his dead and spake in... Oh, let me see. No, we did read this chapter. I forgot about this. We read this entire chapter. It wasn't super monumental of any means. It's basically just, it repeats itself over and over again. It's basically just saying Sarah died and Abraham went and he like bought himself a nice cave to bury her in. And it just basically repeats that like 15 times throughout the entire chapter. That's pretty much it. We did read chapter 23, and there we go. Genesis chapter 24. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house, that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh. Ooh, he's getting spicy. And I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell, but thou shalt go into my country, to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. What was the whole hand under his thigh thing? Like, I get that it's like he's making him swear, but it's a bit homoerotic. Not that I'm complaining. Uh, um, and the servant said unto him, Peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me into this land. Must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest? And Abraham said unto him, Beware thou that thou, what? Beware thou that thou bring not my son thither again. The Lord God of heaven, which took me from my father's house, and from the land of my kindred, which spake unto me, and that sware unto me, saying, Unto thy seed I will give this land, he shall send his angels before thee, thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. Wonderful. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this my oath. Only bring not my son thither again. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and sware to him concerning that matter. It seems just a little bit like servant is a softer word, or maybe that's his occupation, but not his true status. The whole thing of being Abraham being his master, a little bit yikesy. And the servant took 10 camels of his master and departed. For all the goods of his master were in his hand, and he rose and went to Mesopotamia unto the city of Nahor. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. So he's like lurking around the watering hole, around the well. Very interesting. And he said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day, and shew kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass that the damsel whom I shall say, Let down thy pitcher, I pray thee, that I may drink. And she shall say, that's a that's a tongue twister right there. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac, and thereby I shall know that thou hast shewed kindness unto my master. I am illiterate, and this is painful. And it came to pass, before he had done speaking, that, behold, Rebekah came out, and was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, her pitcher upon her shoulder. So this is Abraham's, not cousin, nephew, great cousin, I don't know, but they are related and very closely. They're like, that's yikesy. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her, and she went down to the well, and filled her pitcher, and came up. The whole, both being fair to look upon, and a virgin, and neither had any man known her, it makes it sort of seem like virgin has a different context than neither had any man known her, because that's both virgin and neither had any man, like any man not having known her. Both seem to say the same thing. I don't know that they're just repeating it for emphasis, or if they actually have different meanings in, Hebrew or whatever it was written as originally. And the servant ran to meet her and said, Let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher. And she said, Drink, my lord. She hasted and let down her pitcher upon her hand and gave him drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for thy camels also, until they have done drinking. And she hasted and emptied her pitcher unto the trough, and ran again unto the well to draw water, and drew for all his camels. And the man, wondering at her, held his peace, to wit whether the Lord had made his journey prosperous or not. And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of half a shekel weight, and 2 bracelets for her hands, 10 shekels weight of gold. Those are heavy bracelets. Like, if the earring is that light, having it something be 20 times that heavy, that's a substantial bracelet. And said, Whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee, is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge in? And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah, which she bare unto Nahor. She said, Moreover unto him, we have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in. And the man bowed his head and worshipped the Lord. I wonder how common this is. Like, in the ancient time, you're getting water at the well. You show some basic kindness to someone. You're like, here, yeah. It'd be the same thing as like oh, let me get some water for your dogs. And then he's like, hey, I'm going to give you a bunch of jewelry and essentially ask if I can marry you because that's a dowry, and he's asking for her father's house, right? Which you supposed to ask them to marry your child or whatever it is. I just I wonder how common that is in the ye ancient oldie days. Um, all right. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham, who I hath not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I being in the way, the Lord led me to the house of my master's brethren. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham, who hath not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I being in the way, the Lord hath led me to the house of my master's brethren. And the damsel ran, and told them of her mother's house these things. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man unto the well. And it came to pass, when he saw the earring and bracelets upon his sister's hands, and when he heard the words Rebekah his sister saying, Thus spake the man unto me, that he came unto the man, and behold, he stood by the camels at the well. It's just, yeah, we get that it's a game of telephone. He like heard his sister say the man said things, then he went to the well. Yes, we understand. And he said, Come in, thou art blessed of the Lord, wherefore standest thou? And he said, Come in, thou blessed of the Lord, wherefore standest thou without? For I have prepared the house and room for the camels. And the man came into the house, and he ungirdled the camels, and gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the man's feet that were with him. It didn't say that he took people with him. It's just, there's no logical consistency. It's like saying it's the opposite of Chekhov's shotgun or Chekhov's gun or whatever it is. Like, he pulls the gun off the wall when there was never a gun mentioned before. Whatever. And there was set meat before him to eat, but he said, I will not eat until I have told mine errand. And he said, Speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and the Lord hath blessed my master greatly, and he is become great. And he hath given him flocks and herds and silver and gold and manservants and maidservants and camels and asses. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master when she was old, and unto him hath he given all that he hath. The hath, what, just, and my master made me swear, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife to my son, or to the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell, but thou shalt go unto my father's house, and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. And I said to my master, Peradventure the woman will not follow me. Peradventure means like, what if? It means like, perhaps. It's like, in one of the previous chapters, I used mayhaps instead of peradventure, because I find it amusing. How long is this chapter? That's fine. Okay. And he said unto me, The Lord, before whom I walk, will send his angel with thee, and prosper thy way, and thou shalt take a wife for my son of my kindred, of my father's house. Then shalt thou be clear from this my oath, when thou comest to my kindred, and if they give thee not one, thou shalt be clear from my oath. And I came this day unto the well, and said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, if thou do prosper my way which I go, behold, I stand before the well of water. It shall come to pass that when the virgin cometh forth to draw water, and I say to her, Give to me, I pray, a little while. Is he just repeating everything? He's literally, he's just repeating, he's like telling word for word what he said earlier. Yes, okay, it's fine, it's wonderful. Blah, 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 let the person be the person that the Lord wanted for my master's son. And before I had done speaking in mine heart, behold, Rebekah came forth with her pitcher on her shoulder, and she went down unto the well and drew water. And I said unto her, Let me drink, I pray thee. And she made haste and let down her pitcher from her shoulder, and said, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. So I drank, and she made the camels drink also. And I asked of her, Whose daughter art thou? And she said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare unto him, that I put the earring upon her face and the bracelets upon her hands. And I bowed down my head and worshipped the Lord, and blessed the Lord God of my master Abraham, which had led me in the right way to take my master's brother's daughter unto his son. His brother's daughter. So this is Abraham's niece. This is incest. Like, I guess this is apparently nothing new because Sarai was his sister as well as his wife, and then Abraham's like other nephew Lot's two daughters both like raped Lot, and that was Nita Reno. It's not okay. It's not good. But apparently incest was nothing to be shied away from in their eyes. And now, if ye will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, The thing proceedeth from the Lord, we cannot speak unto thee good or bad. Behold, Rebekah is before thee, take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Lord hath spoken. And when it came to pass, that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped the Lord, bowing himself unto the earth. Yeah, cool. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Becca. He gave also to her brothers. Oh, blue. He gave also to her brothers and to her mother precious things. Yeah, it's a dowry. And they did eat and drink, he and the men that were with him, and they tarried all night, and they rose up in the morning, and he said, Send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother said, Let the damsel abide with us a few days, at the least 10, after that she shall go. And he said unto them, Hinder me not, seeing the Lord hath prospered my way, will send me that I may go unto my master. And they said, We will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. I assume that means ask her instead of inspecting her teeth, not expecting her teeth, inspecting her teeth. I am the most eloquent. And they called Rebekah and said unto her, Wilt thou go with this man? And she said, I will go. And didn't they already have a big party about it? And he already gave them dowries and stuff. Why are they asking her after all of this happened? Okay. And they sent away Rebekah their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant, and his men. And they blessed Rebekah, and said unto her, Thou art our sister, be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gates of those which hate them. Okay, we're going to fun. Have strong warlord children, I guess. And Rebekah arose, and her damsels, and they took upon the camels, and went and followed the man, and the servant took Rebekah, and went his way. And Isaac came from the way of the well of Lahorai, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate at the field at the eventide, and he lifted his eyes, and saw, behold, camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, It is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. And Isaac brought her unto his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah. And she became his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. That's so messed up. That is, oh, the chapter was fairly innocuous until now. What the fuck? He's like, yeah, this is fun. I'm gonna take my nephew, my great nephew, whatever, my dad's niece, not nephew. Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm gonna take my dad's niece into my recently deceased mother's tent, have sex with her, and feel all fine and dandy having sex on my deceased mother's bed. This just it just makes me uncomfortable. This is icky. It doesn't feel right. I guess that's that. Wonderful. Okay, after that last chapter, that's fun. Onward we march to Genesis chapter 25. Then again Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. So the Bible is very bad with the passage of time. It never actually specifies anything for the most part, except for when people die or when they have a kid. But It might just be me, but it didn't seem like it was, that long after his wife died before he took a second wife. Not that I guess that's not normal, because he had like a mistress that he had a kid with while he was like still married and everything. His mistress and his wife had some rivalry, had some beef, but I don't know. It just seems like if you're mourning the death of your wife, getting your getting another wife does not seem like the best way to honor her memory or anything like that. But here we go. And she bare him Zimran, and Jokshan, and Medan, and Ishbek, and Shua. And Jokshan begat Sheba and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Asherim, and Letusam, and Lebanon. Are all of these going to be... It looks like this is another... that's so much. It looks like the majority of this is just genealogy, which is going to be a fun chapter because it's boring. All right, here we go. And the sons of Midian, Ephaph, and Ipher, and Hanok, and Abida, and Elda, all these were the children of Keturah. So Keturah had these kids, but these are not... I don't know, that sentence is in a bad place, but here we go. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. That's yikesy. He's just like, all right, I'm going to get another wife. I am at least, like, I am nearly 140 years old right now. And I'm going to have another wife and have, what, six children with her? And I'm going to give everything to my firstborn son. That's just not... You're leaving a single mother in, like, way ye olden times, with 6 children and no support once he dies. Like, that's not going to be as cool as I thought Abraham was for trying to talk down God to, destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. The whole, like, incest and, like, willingly about to sacrifice your kid kind of stuff. Like, it's a bit yikesy. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son while he... Wait. So it's saying that he's giving everything to Isaac and giving the sons of his concubines gifts, which the whole everything and then giving gifts is, whatever. But he's giving gifts to the sons of Abraham's concubines. He's giving gifts to the sons of his concubines. And he's not leaving anything for his new wife and her 6 kids. Fun. And sent them away from Isaac while he had yet lived eastward unto the east country. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life, which he lived 103 years. Hoo-wee. Yeah, he was like, 140 when, or 137 technically, whatever, when Sarah died. That's a lot of concubine children, I guess, you're giving gifts to. Then Abraham gave up the ghost and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered unto his people. And his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in a cave of Machpelah. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. In the field of Ephron, and the son Zohor of Hittite, which is before Mamre. In the field which Abraham purchased, the sons of Heth, there was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. So they buried him with his first wife, and not the first person he had a kid with, of course, or any of his concubines, or his second wife, who he lived with for longer actually than his first wife, and had more kids with the second wife than the first. Which I'm not like judging or anything. It's just sure, fun. And it came to pass that after the death of Abraham, that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well Lahorai. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. Okay. This is the archer guy. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebajoth, and Kedar, and Abdeel, and Misib, and Misha, and Dunma, and Masa, and Hadar, and Tema, and Jutur, and Nasif, and Kedema. How many? This kid's is a baby making machine. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 children. Is this the 12 tribes of Israel? Israel? Um, these are the sons of Ishmael. These are their names. No, there's not, because there's no. I am. I know that these at least aren't the 12s of Israel's, but here we go. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by their towns and by their castles. 12 princes according to their nations. What? He was like the son of some like Egyptian slave. How did his kids have castles and nations? And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. He gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people. And they dwelt from Havel unto Shur, that is before Egypt, as thou goest towards Assyria. And he died in the presence of all his brethren. These are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, and the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Panaram, and the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren, and the Lord entreated him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children okay, so this is the second time someone in their general family tree is having fertility issues, and I'm just thinking, maybe it has something to do with all the incest, because Abraham and Sarah were siblings, at least that's what I understood from it. And Rebecca was Isaac's dad's niece, so they are still very closely related by blood. Not to mention, the whole everyone coming from Adam and Eve thing. Yeah, that, like, yeah, that may have something to do with your lack of fertility. Also, I wonder if they know for sure that it's the wife that's barren, because I'm pretty sure like you can still be like an infertile man and still like produce semen, not sperm but semen, or your sperm won't be like effective or whatever, but you can still like ejaculate and everything. So I wonder if they're just projecting that it's like the wife when it's actually them. I just think that'd be funny. Okay. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, "If it be so, why am I thus?" And she went to inquire of the Lord. I'm not sure what that means. I assume it sounds like she's having at least twins, and they're like duking it out in her womb. And the Lord said unto her, "Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger." They are duking it out, and the little one's going to come out on top. And when her days were to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Asu. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Asu's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 60 years old when she bare them. A score is like 12, right? I remember looking this up in a previous thing. A score is 20 years. Okay, wonderful. So he was 60. They were married for 20 years, before having kids, which is fine and everything. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Don't they all live in tents? Like, isn't that the whole thing? And Isaac loved Esau, but because he did not eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Love all of your kids, like, please. If you have children, like, give them care and attention. And Jacob sawed pottage. I assume that has something to do with like sod the like turf kind of stuff, and pottage as in like pottery. Okay. And Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, that with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. They're wild. They're absolutely insane. I don't know what the whole, like, and now his name is Edom instead, but, like, he's just like, yeah, I'll give you some food. If you sell me your soul, if you sell me your birthright, if you sell me all of your riches and your position in life. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau the bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat this and drank and rose up and went on his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. I would despise his brother. Like, his brother's like, he's blackmailing him, threatening him. He's like, if if you don't give me your birthright, I'm not gonna feed you. You're gonna die. So that's neato. That was Genesis chapter 25. Jacob doesn't seem like a very nice kid. That's all I gotta say. Not a very upstanding citizen. Genesis chapter 26. And there was a famine. Genesis chapter 26. And there was a famine in the land, besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar, Gerald of Riviere. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, I will be with thee, I will bless thee, for unto thee and unto thy seed will I give thee all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, and my statutes, and my laws. So yeah, he's saying, if you need to follow me, and if you follow me like your father followed me, then I'm gonna make all of your kids like take over the world or whatever. Neato. Okay. And Isaac dwelt in Geralt of Riviere. And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, She is my... Why? Why are they doing this again? And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, She is my sister, for he feared to say, She is my wife, lest, said he, the men of the place shall kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. I don't understand that, like, at all whatsoever. I don't understand the whole thing. Like, Abraham, his father, had to do this as well, even though, it seems to be like his wife actually was his sister. But the whole, they'll kill me if they figure out that my pretty wife is actually my wife. But they won't kill me if they see that my pretty wife is my sister. I feel like in really either situation, he should be worried about them like taking her and like raping her or making her their wife instead. But he's just like, nah, they'll kill me if they figure out that she's my wife. And I don't understand what's stopping them. Like, I don't understand why they're not willing to do that for a brother, but they are willing to do that for a husband. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why or what that means. And it came to pass when he had been there a long time that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out of a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah his wife. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, Behold, of a surety she is thy wife. And how saidst thou, She is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, Because I said, Lest I die for her. So this king Abimelech is like, he's old. He had to deal with Isaac's father pulling the same shit. Like, he's been around the block at least once before, because, again, Isaac's father did the same thing with this king. And Abimelech said, What is thou? And Abimelech said, What is this thou hast done unto us? One of the people might have lightly line with thy wife, and thou shouldest have brought guiltiness upon us. Guilt. I don't. Why? I don't understand this at all. Why is it better to pretend like she's your sister? I don't understand. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, he that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. A bit harsh, but like, yeah, just generally don't go around, touching people, killing people, raping people. Not a good thing. Generally don't do it. Very bad. Not good. But yeah, okay. Then Isaac sowed in that land and received the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed them. And the man waxed great, went forward, and grew until he became very great. For he had possession of flocks, and possession of herds, and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. What happened to like Isaac's kids and stuff? Like, did they leave? Like, one of them sold his birthright, and then just like there's no mention of them again? Whack. For the wells which his father's servants digged in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped them and filled them with earth. Why? Like, even if it's of someone you don't like, if they're not there, like, water is water, bro. Just like use it. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. This king is telling this like random farmer, you're mightier than we are. And Isaac departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley, and found there a well of springing water. And the herdmen of Geralt of Riviar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, the water is ours. He called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. Okay. They're just nothing interesting is happening. They're just digging wells. I don't understand. Like, I can understand if it would have some kind of, this likely meant something to the people when it was written. Like, they're like, yes, this is where this well came from, and this is why it's named this. But like, I don't know. It's if this is supposed to be like a divinely inspired holy book for everyone throughout all time, I don't understand why include these like random, essentially like useless, trivial details. Because it doesn't mean anything to me. I assume like the names of these wells don't mean anything to the vast majority of Christians. I just don't understand what the point of it is. And they digged another well, and strove for that also. And he called the name of it Sintha. And he removed from thence, and digged another well, and for that they strove not, and he called the name of it Rehoboth, Robocop. And he said, for now the Lord had made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And he went up from thence to Beersheba. And the Lord appeared unto him the same night, and said, I am the God of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he builded an altar there, and called upon the name of the Lord, and pitched his tent there. And therefore Isaac's servants digged a well. I am illiterate, and I just would like to repeat how the use of he is just utterly horrible, because in the previous sentence, he is referring to Isaac. The entire previous sentences, referring to God, the entire previous sentences, and then when it just says he in 25 here, it's talking about Isaac suddenly, which is frustrating, But we're almost done with the chapter. Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Azeth, one of his friends, and Pickle, the chief captain of the army. It's Pickle. Pickle's back. You don't remember Pickle because that was a whole thing that I did with Levi, but it's Pickle. It's Pickle Rick. It is Pickle. Oh, what did I do? It's pronounced Pickle. That's the truth. That's yep. That's on official. That's official. It's Pickle. Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Azeth one of his friends, and Pickle the chief captain of his army. And Isaac said unto them, wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me, and have sent me away from you? And they said, we saw certainly that the Lord was with thee. And we said, let us be there now an oath betwixt us, even betwixt us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee. Didn't they do the same thing with Abraham, like Isaac's dad? That thou wilt do us no hurt, as we have not touched thee, and we have done nothing unto thee but good, and have sent thee away in peace. Thou art now the blessed of the Lord. And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink, and they rose up betimes in the morning, and swore to one another. And Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. And it came to pass on the same day that Isaac's servants came, and told him concerning the well which they had digged, and said unto him, we have found water. And he called it Shabah. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Beshemath the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of mine unto Isaac and Rebekah. So I assume they just don't like the Hittites for whatever reason. I think we have time for one more chapter. This one is, it's a long one, but it's fine. Yeah, here we go. Genesis chapter 27, the final chapter of the day today. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his oldest son, and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here I am. I'm just going to repeat every single time. It's written terribly. If you have, like, okay, we're going from here. And said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here I am. Without any of the names there, and without any prior context about how this book is written, you have no clue what's being said. It's very bad. I don't enjoy it. It's not good. And he said, behold now, I am old. I know not the delay of my death. Now, therefore, take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow. Go out to the field, and make me some venison. And make me eat savory meat, such as I love. Bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. Yeah. Esau was a hunter or whatever. Esau, however the name is pronounced. Sure. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spoke to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. I don't understand what the significance of these random italicized words are, but it happens fairly often. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before my death before the Lord. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Now go to the flock, and fence me from thence 2 good kids of the goats. I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. Everyone here is just terrible. Like, they are both her children. And for whatever reason here, she's like, we're going to do a little sneak trick on your poor blind father, who seems to really have not done anything, like, bad in his life, from what I could tell. He was the whole, having sex with his niece, cousin, whatever, in his recently deceased mother's tent. But, like, besides that, like, he seemed to be pretty chill overall. And now she's like, I'm gonna, while your brother is going out to go do this thing that your father asked for him to do, I'm going to do the exact same thing, and then give the birthright to you instead. Like, of course, Esau already swore over his birthright or whatever, but, like, it's still just messed up. All of it is just messed up. Yeah. Let's see. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father may feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver. I shall bring a curse upon me, not a blessing. And he's just going along with it. He's just like, yeah, but here's the catch. I am smooth as a baby's bottom, and my brother is a bear. If he touches me, he'll see that I am not a bear, and he'll curse me instead. Wonderful. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son, only obey my voice and fetch me them. And he went and he fetched and brought them to his mother. I assume them is the goats or whatever, the venison. Not goats, sheep of whatever time. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly amount of raiment from her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. So she is taking the the clothing of her older son, putting it on her younger son. And then she's taking the skinned goat, the skinned goat hair, like these pelts, and she's like putting them on Jacob's hands and like his neck, so he looks like a big old beard man, a hairy lumberjack boy. It's none of this seems right. None of it seems okay. And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And he said unto Isaac his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord God, the Lord thy God brought it to me. Is that what actually happened? Like, what's the difference between Esau getting these like sheep that were close to the house or whatever, and Jacob getting it? Okay, wonderful. We love the plot consistency. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. It's also kind of interesting that he can't tell their voices apart. Like, I can tell my siblings' voices apart instantly. Like, even just me having like known them. It doesn't say that he was hard of hearing. It says that he was like blind. It has said nothing about his hearing. I can like, teleport the voices of my friends very easily. People that I, have not known for the entirety of my life. Like Isaac would have known about his kids. So absentee father much? I don't know. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and he said, The voice is Jacob's, but the hands are the hands of Esau. Okay, so he does know his voice, but he's just, for whatever reason, he's ignoring the voice and saying, okay, the hands are hairy, so I believe him. And so he blessed him, and he said, Art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. He's just lying to his dad to get a blessing. That's messed up. That's messed up. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. What happens if if Esau like walks in the middle of this? There's going to be blood. I'm calling it now. There's going to be not fun times. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said to him, Come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelt the smelt of raiment, and he blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is of the smell of the field which the Lord hath blessed. And therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of earth, and plenty of corn and wine, and let people serve thee, and and nations bow. And let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Thy mother's sons, that's just him and his brother. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, blessed be he that blesseth thee. Also, it's talking about corn here, plenty of corn and wine. Isn't corn like an American thing? Like, isn't it in the like the maize and like family of stuff? Like, wouldn't they not have corn in the Middle East? Like, I may be just crazy, but like I'm pretty sure that corn is something that was like grown exclusively in the Americas. Um, like that's just where it evolved, where it grew. But okay, get corn and grapes, I guess. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing of Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he had also made savory meat, and brought it to his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison, and brought it me, and I have eaten all before thou camest, and I have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. They're speaking, I don't know, like, it sounds like this is some actual blessing, some actual curse type stuff, like voodoo magic stuff. Not like oh, I give you my permission. Like, blessing is typically like used as, at least colloquially, often it's used like if someone gives you their blessing, it's like they give you the go ahead. They give you, um, it's not support. What's the word? Like, I don't know. It's that they allow it of you. They give you permission, right? I give you my blessing. I give you my endorsement. That's what I was looking for. Um, but here they're talking about if it's like an actual like spell blessing that should have actually any kind of like purpose, or not purpose, any kind of effect on him in the long run, which is whack. Uh, yeah. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said to his father, Bless me, even me also, my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times, took away my birthright, and now behold, he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren I have given to him for servants, and with corn and wine I have sustained him. What shall I do now unto thee, my son? Whack. He's just like, yeah, he would have been doing this to Jacob though otherwise. He's just like, yeah, I'm going to make all of your siblings your servants. That's just it. They're your servants now. All of this is so foreign to me. Like, of course it's foreign. It's very different time period, very different place, but it's just so messed up. It's not, none of this seems right at all. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered unto him, and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of the heaven above. Okay, so he's like giving him the same blessing, because that's how the other blessing started. And by the sword thou shalt live, and shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Okay, so he's like, you're gonna be a warrior, bro. You're gonna serve your brother, but when it comes to like eventually, you're gonna break his stranglehold from around your neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand, and then I will slay my brother Jacob. I am not a fan of violence, but Esau's position here is pretty understandable. Jacob does not seem like a good person by any metric, by any standard, by any regard. He seems overall like a generally very bad person. Just, yeah, not good at all. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. Why would you tell your mom? Why? Why? No. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. As touching thee doth comfort himself. That is strange wording, and I'm not even going to get into the possible connotations of that. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice. Arise, flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days, until thy brother's fury turn away, until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I deprive also of you both in one day? No. I don't know why Rebecca prefers Jacob, but like, she very much prefers Jacob. And Jacob is an asshole. He's terrible. This is not fun, not good, not, no, bad. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do to me? That just seems like more xenophobia stuff, like they don't like the native inhabitants of whatever. That's where we're going to leave it with Genesis chapter 27 there. It's getting more interesting. Like, admittedly, it's definitely getting more interesting. It's getting very much more like Game of Thrones, just in general. There was, city destruction. There was incest. There was, like sacrifice. There was subterfuge and lying, some treachery, some sneakery going on here. Um, yeah, this is whack. It's some whack stuff, but I'm definitely getting more into it. It's still terrible. The prose is absolutely horrid. It's written so bad. And it's not like fun, but I'm sure that if it would definitely be very interesting. I feel like if it was written by like a novelist today, and they actually put any kind of effort into it, and like had the prose be interesting at all, and had really anything make sense, and like fix all of the gaping plot holes and everything. But if it was written today, like modern day, uh, as like a fiction story, I would definitely read it. Like, especially if it was well written, if it has good prose, it'd be high quality. But like right now, some of the plot points behind it are just fine. It just feels like they're all glazed over in general. Um, like this had more detail than the Binding of Isaac. It had more detail than the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. It had more detail than the Tower of Babel, right? It had more, like, there was a whole like 2 chapters or whatever on Noah's flood, but this felt more detailed than all that and the ark and everything. Um, so it may be getting better, which is something to look forward to in the future. But with that, we leave that there. Of course, this was KingJamesBibleOnline.org. Um, we'll go through more next week, of course. This has been the Tin Man, and I have been your host, Ethan Zimmerman. And I'll see you around.